Hello, my friend. Welcome to Do Not Talk. Talk about two things you're never supposed to talk about: religion and politics. I'm Charlie Simons, and we have some great sponsors who have been helping this show stay on the air, and you can help them and support them by buying their products, like my friend Mike Lindell at mypillow.com/Lee. Lee is my middle name. Use that name as a promo code. You can save up to 75% off certain MyPillow products. Just go to mypillow.com/LEE, mypillow.com/Lee. Support that great patriot who's been on the front lines and has put his fortune on the line and has almost lost it all when all the big box stores pulled all of his products off the shelves. Screw you, Walmart. That was the last big store to pull his products for no reason other than, well, he's questioning the election. He's an election denier. No. We don't deny there was an election. We just deny that it was honest. So help him, support him. Go to his new online store with over 100 products now, all American made. mypillow.com/Lee. mypillow.com/LEE. I've got a great guest on the show, somebody who I'm a big fan of. He has been an actual inspiration for me. When I was on the radio in the Sacramento area of Northern California, and the whole convoy was happening after the truckers' convoy in Canada, we did the People's Convoy down here in the United States of America. And it was all across the entire nation, and trying to get the media. One American News was reporting on it, OAN, which has now been deplatformed on several different services. Satellite, cable. You can't find OAN. You have to go online. OANN.com, I think it is. Newsmax was another one, a conservative news site on cable. They were covering this People's Convoy, and that was it. On Fox, I think, Tucker was still on the air there. He was covering it somewhat, but not a lot. So I started looking online. I went to this before I even knew there was a Rumble, which I'm on now, rumble.com/do not talk. Thank the Lord for Rumble, because YouTube has kicked me off. But I'm looking on YouTube for anybody who's covering this convoy, because I want to report about it on the radio, because I'm not seeing it in any other media, especially in California. And I find this guy named Josh Fulfer. He and his buddy started this production company called Oreo Express. And I think it may have been just to go on this convoy. I'll have to ask him about it. And I start running the audio on my radio show. I go, let's check in with the People's Convoy. And boom, I'd bring up YouTube. You couldn't see the picture, but most of it was just a fixed camera in the dash, and he's describing what's going on across the country. He'd get out, he'd go on overpasses where people were waving flags when they'd find out that the convoy was coming through. He'd pull off, and he'd go interview those people. He was amazing. I appreciated him so much. And I was sending him comments on there. I'm on the radio. Please call me. Here's my phone number. Please go on. I want to put you on. He was a little busy. And I never got to meet him until after the fact. And he's become a fast friend and somebody who, I have any questions about this whole podcasting thing, I'll go to Josh. And he's always there to help, always there to give some recommendations and a better way to do things. And Josh, in many ways, you've built what I'm doing now here on Do Not Talk, and I thank you so much for it. I'll tell you what, let's just thank him in person. Let's get him into the mix, because he's on Do Not Talk. Hit it!
Yep, here he comes. Riding his trusted steed through the Sierra foothills as he brings you the news. He calls himself
Charlie.
What you doing, Charlie?
Sorry, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie. There you are. Look how cute you are. Yeah.
Hey, Charlie. What's with the dark glasses?
And now, here he is, a man of God, living in a world of Disney.
Ow, Charlie.
Charlie Simons.
Charlie bit me.
Brought to you by MyPillow.com/Lee, MyPillow.com/LEE. Please support Mike Lindell and his American-made products, over 100 of them now in one location online. Fire the big corporations, fire the big box stores, screw them. Go to MyPillow.com/Lee. You'll love the products he has on there. I have a bunch of them. I bought them before I ever met him, and he invited me to be one of his spokesmen. So, yeah, I believe. I'm a believer. I can tell you how great their sheets are, their towels, their beds, their pillows. The best pillow I've ever had. Changed my life. No more headaches every morning. No more, oh my goodness, I used to wake up so stiff and ridiculous. My neck hurt all the time. And I tried all kinds of different pillows. My pillow changed my life. Really did. Made things so much better for me. So let's cut the music, ladies and gentlemen, for your dining and dancing pleasure. Here he is, direct from the Oreo Express bunker. It is Josh Fulfer. Hey, buddy boy, what's going on, my friend? How are you? How's it been? What's happening?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm borderline amazing.
Right.
You were in New York for the sentencing of President Trump in that sham trial, which I know we haven't heard the end of it yet. It's really amazing, though, and I would want to get your input on this. Why did they move the sentencing date? Because they were hell-bent on making sure he got put in jail before the election, but now they've moved the sentencing date, haven't they?
Yeah.
What do you know about that?
Yeah, I think a lot of it had to do with was the heat they were taking from everything that's going on right there. We know this is what they call a witch hunt. And with every time they indicted this man, he got more popular. His poll numbers went up. I was almost certain that, this month he would be going to jail. I think a lot of people thought that they were going to try to keep him away from talking to the American people, keep him away from, interacting, actually being able to campaign. I mean, he still has a gag order, but with everything going on, they decided to move that out till mid-November now.
Do you see a reason why they might be doing that? Do you get a little peek into their plan? The left I'm talking about, the wicked demons that call themselves Democrats. Do you see a reason why they would do that? Because I do.
I think they're looking. I really think they're looking at polling numbers. All they care about is power and control. And when they look at these polling numbers and people are sick and tired of different courts and different systems going after Donald Trump, even on their side, I'm not talking about the far left activist you see online all day. I'm talking about the average person that still considers himself a Democrat, going to work or on their retirement. And every time they turn on the news, we got him again. We got him again. And it's like nothing's came to fruition for him. And so I think some of it was I think a good portion might have been polling where they sit here and say, this is so close before an election. This is going to give him that momentum that we don't want him to have that close to the election. That's my personal opinion of it.
I think there's a darker reason. I think that they're planning on making sure he's in jail after the election. Because three things I think that they have planned. See what you think about this. One is, I don't believe that Kamala is going to be their golden girl going into the election. I think there's going to be an October surprise or even a late September surprise after this presidential debate. They're not allowing her to have notes. The microphones are not going to be turned off or kept on. She's not going to be able to goad him and do what she loves to do, which is she's a prosecuting attorney. And they love to just throw crap out there. And even if it's completely false and a lie, as we've seen for almost 4 years from Joe Biden, he knows all you have to do is say it and it makes the impression. Even if it comes back later that was completely false, the damage has already been done. That's what attorneys do. And they are going to, first of all, I think that it's going to be, my theory, an Obama ticket. I think Biden's sticking in long enough. I think the agreement is we're going to get your piece of crap son convicted, so people quit screaming about that, and then you can pardon him, and then we're going to 25th Amendment your ass out of there, and we're going to let Obama, and that's a benefit to him because all the charges that are coming against him, hopefully, because he's broken some serious laws, especially when it comes to taking millions of dollars from foreign countries. He is going to have a great defense to say, "Well, I'm not competent to stand trial. I couldn't even be president anymore because I'm old and decrepit." And suddenly he's going to work that up, and he's going to be, I'm too old and decrepit to be brought up to trial, like they did, with the whole documents thing. And that 25th Amendment will be a perfect excuse for that. Kamala gets to be president, the very first woman of color president in the history of the United States of America, and then something's going to happen. She's going to step down or something. Big Mike is going to be the presidential candidate, and there's nothing in the U.S. Constitution that says a former president cannot run for or be appointed vice president. And it's going to be an Obama ticket. All they need is, now, as insane and ridiculous and stupid as that would be, and such a disaster for the country, there's enough people in this nation who will vote for that ticket. And all they need is a bump in the polling. They get that bump in the polling, they can justify and hide the millions of fake ballots that they're going to pour into it after the election to turn it around and make that a win. Now, let's say they are not able to do that. Scenario number 2, we're about to have a serious attack, probably on our infrastructure, on our internet, and it's all going to be blamed on Russia. And it's going to disrupt the entire election, period. So it might not even happen. They might try and postpone it. Why would they postpone it? Because they're so close to putting everything they've been working so hard on into effect to bring in and usher in their new world order crap. That's scenario number 2, or it could be both. And the third one is Trump wins. It's a landslide. They can't stop the election. Trump is now the winner, but he's not sworn in yet until January. So they put him in jail. Can you run a country from jail?
I think that man could. If anybody could do it, that man could. I'll tell you that right now. But no, that's interesting. So I don't see, I personally don't see the Kamala dropping out right now because they've put so much energy and effort. I mean, this is a Hollywood production. From going to the least liked, like Democrat, the far left liberal, and they're trying to recreate her as some caring, loving, passionate person that just wants to close our border and everything else. But I do agree with you. We are in store for something big happening, whether it's a terrorist attack, whether, like you say, I keep saying this, and the time is here for them to hit our internet, our communications, or we know what's going on in the Middle East. We know what's going on in Ukraine. With the open borders, we have thousands upon thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of terrorists here. I think something that would make 9/11 look very small in size comparison to what they can do with today's technology. And like you said, there's got to be, there'll be an excuse to postpone an election or wait a second, it's not safe to go out in the streets. Not every state has mail-in ballots. So we are disfranchising our voters here. And so we're going to have to put that out until December so we can get everybody mailed out a ballot so they can stay at home and be safe. I could see something like that happening. I mean, hell, they did it in 2020 and we were all called crazy when we said, hey, wait a second, this is just going to bring in the voter fraud. Oh, you just don't want people of color voting. No, I want everybody voting that's legally able to vote. But I just think that, like our Constitution says, it has a day that we're supposed to be voting. I want to be constitutional to this. So I agree that something's big coming up. I was talking about the October surprise or a late September surprise shortly. I actually was joking around and thought, Kamala's very nervous about this debate. I wouldn't doubt the Democrats call a bomb threat on themselves so she doesn't even have to debate tomorrow because either COVID, she starts coughing today and she tests positive for COVID or something because, we know who's going to win that debate.
I can see them doing that. I hadn't even thought about that possibility. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Or the thing that they're really trying to push now is West Nile virus. Oh, you can't go outside to vote because of mosquitoes. You get West Nile virus like Fauci did. No. So everybody stay in, everybody vote by mail. And oh, by the way, mosquitoes aren't out in November.
Yeah. You know what, though? Oh, man. Think about everything.
But I hadn't even thought about the COVID thing. You're right.
So it's going to be interesting. Now, regardless if they do the debate or not, we already know who's on their side. And when I say their side, this communist agenda, her dad was a Marxist professor. There's no doubt her policies haven't changed. Either has CNN's, MSNBC's, or ABC's. So they're going to be, after that, they're going to be popping champagne and saying Kamala Harris really looked professional today. She looked presidential. She was the candidate of the future. There's no going back to racism and misogyny with Donald Trump. We already know what their talking line's going to be. It hasn't changed, but it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to watch it. Like, this is the Super Bowl for me.
I know. We got to have a watch party, buddy. Have you noticed all the different change in policy direction, though? None of it's coming out of Kamala's mouth. It's all coming from her staff. Has anyone noticed that? All these different changes. Suddenly, she wants to close the border? What? She wants to finish the wall? What? She wants to not tax tips? This kind of stuff. All of this is not coming out of her mouth. It's coming out of her staffers' mouths. Because you get the point, just like attorneys, you get the point across. People who have that in their mind. Oh, she's for us. And then when it comes time and none of it happens, well, Kamala never actually said that. We don't know where that came from. Where'd you get that idea? Kamala never actually said that. And we just saw that recently with, who was it? Bernie Sanders saying, oh, no, she's just doing this because she has to get elected.
Yeah, that was beautiful. That, like, when you say the quiet part out loud, guys like me and you in the industry, we just love that. It's insane, man. It's absolutely crazy. Like, we are living in the twilight.
Son, absolutely. And you and I are going to talk about what's happening in Springfield, Ohio, because nobody else in the freaking media is talking about it. We're going to cover that. But you know what's going on in Colorado right now? All these millions that they have allowed to come in illegally and disperse them all over the nation are hard to control. Even getting all the freebies, they still, don't forget, President Trump was right when he said that they're dropping off busloads. They're emptying their prisons. They're emptying their insane asylums. They're taking them right to the border and they're saying, go that way and don't come back or there'll be consequences, severe ones. Don't come back. They're emptying their prisons into our nation. Countries are suddenly that had great crime problems suddenly don't have crime problems down in Central and South America. Why? Because all the criminals are being brought up here and you can't control them. And it's happening right now in Colorado, isn't it? Especially Aurora.
Yeah, no, these gangs that are taking over apartment complexes.
Venezuelan gangs.
Yeah. Tren de Aragua, I believe is how they pronounce it. I don't speak Spanish, but that's what I understand it to be. And there is residents that are speaking out. There is video that has gone viral that the Democrats are trying to say, oh, no, that's not an issue. That's, I even heard one reporting it was that this is just a far right controversy. This is another conspiracy theory. And I'm sitting here looking at the police reports and going through their call logs at these apartments. And I'm like, that's one hell of a conspiracy theory.
This is happening right now to people in peaceful, loving Colorado, which is a flaming blue state. And unfortunately, because it's such a great state, so beautiful, and it's just been polluted and trashed by the left, just like California and Oregon now, and Washington State, and soon Nevada is next. It's it's weird but they're padding the ballot box. These are not illegal immigrants. These are not undocumented workers. They're undocumented Democrats. They know they come from socialist countries. And they're going to vote where the freebies come from. They're going to vote for the left, even though it goes directly against their alleged religious convictions, which has always been stunning to me.
Yeah.
So that's happening now in Colorado. Let's talk about Springfield, Ohio. What the hell?
Man, so Springfield, Ohio, I've always used the term, and I've used it for years. You import third world, you become third world. And that's exactly what's happening in Springfield, Ohio right now. They literally have multiple people going to like what we would call a city council meeting and speaking up about the crime, about animals going missing, about these people that came over from Haiti. They were imported in by open border czar Kamala Harris, and they are going to the parks, chopping off the heads of ducks and carrying ducks for their feast. It's absolutely insane. And now the left is saying that ain't happening. And now body cam video from the actual police department has come out where a woman smashed a cat's head and started eating the cat. And it's all out there. It's from the police department. And we're like, aren't people a little concerned? Like, I get it. We're especially on the conservative side, we don't like to step out of our lane. We don't like, but at what point are people going to continue to sit there and tell this is their pet or their neighborhood? Because it's coming. It's coming.
Well, let's go directly to this is why I love yournews.com. And I got to get you with Sam Anthony and get you on yournews.com. You're going to love this guy. He has opened up a platform for anybody and everybody to report from all over the nation. People like me, a media guy who, got pushed out of my own business because of my political beliefs and my religious stance. And this is, let me share this right now. Are you able to see this, Josh?
Not yet.
Share. There we go. My mistake. Now you can see it, right?
Yeah.
This is from yournews.com. The media newsroom. Springfield, Ohio residents warn of pets and wildlife being hunted by Haitian migrants amidst massive demographic shift. Now, you didn't see this on the NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, but there's a man literally walking along after having killed a goose that was in one of their parks there in that area. And here's the story. Reports to Springfield, Ohio suggest local pets and wildlife are being hunted by Haitian migrants, escalating tensions within the community. Springfield, Ohio has been thrust into the spotlight as local residents express concerns over reports that recent Haitian migrants have been hunting pets and wildlife. According to a viral Facebook post, locals have been urged to keep a close watch on their pets and park animals, including ducks and geese. The post detailed one incident in which a resident discovered her missing cat at a neighbor's house where it was reportedly being prepared for food. This quote is, she came home from work, looked toward a neighbor's house where Haitians live, and saw her cat hanging from a branch. Her cat being carved up to eat. There have also been claims of ducks and geese being hunted in Snyder Park, and rangers and police allegedly confirming incidents, but apparently not stopping it. Since 2020 now, this is Biden-Harris, over 20,000 Haitian migrants have moved to Springfield, increasing the town's population by more than a third. This is a town that only has 60,000 people, now pumped up to 80,000. The influx was part of an economic revitalization plan following the decline of major industries in the area. However, the strain on local residents, such as schools and medical clinics, has led to rising tensions between longtime residents and the newcomers. So this plan had to be in conjunction with local Springfield, Ohio government officials, don't you think, Josh?
It makes it sound like that, but today I watched I believe it was Fox News, had both the city manager and the mayor on and they're raising the red flag, and they're like, hey, we can't sustain this. There is no way. It's crushing the supply chain. It's crushing all the resources that would go to our community are now being distributed throughout. I don't think they had much say in this. They might have sold it in a way that, hey, we're gonna allocate some resources, some people to your area or something like that. I don't think they knew it was going to be 20,000 third world refugees is what they want to call it.
Flown in.
Yeah, flown in with your tax dollars.
That's right. We paid for it. And what really irritates the hell out of me is many of them are military vehicles are doing these transports,
Yep.
not private industry airlines, because it's easier to control. My tax dollars going for this.
Yeah.
This is out of control. This is just the beginning, isn't it?
Oh yeah. We've been waiting for this day for a while. When I say we've been waiting, meaning waiting for it to come out. This is happening in multiple communities. You're just not hearing about it. We heard about Chicago and New York because they're big cities. They got over 1 million each of illegals that were transferred there. It wasn't the mayor that spoke up. The mayor never spoke up in New York until the residents went out and protested the safety of their children at school bus stops and
Right.
protested that, hey, guess what? It's near Christmas and I go to the food line to get our Thanksgiving meal, and they ran out because everybody in front of me was illegals.
Here's a good example. I'm not sure if the video is going to come up on it. Just the audio though should be enough. So I'm gonna roll it, and then in post, Josh, when I put this on the Rumble page, and you can share this link if you want to the show, I will put the actual video in. For some reason, it's not coming up now, but let's listen to this audio. One of those women at one of those town council meetings taking those people to task. Check it out.
You don't hang no signs about black people hating on immigrants, because black people ain't got no reason to hate on no immigrants.
Oh no, but the immigrants got
We
no reason to hate
everything
on
y'all
us.
are and then some. Let me tell you something. You get them signs down. Anytime that Arnold and Lawson and Silverstein and what's that other?
Cesar
Can sit up
Lopez.
here and talk
Lopez.
about how they should get a hate crime bill because swastikas was in Ziploc bags in their community. They hung this in our community. We want it off the polls. We want that to be the beginning of a hate crime. And that organization, which is a white liberal organization, like in the words of Malcolm X, who told us what? That the white liberal is the worst enemy to the black man.
Yes!
And
To the
it
black
is
American.
coming up in here acting like y'all representing some social justice.
Say that,
But all
sister.
along,
Say
all
that.
you're doing is trying to use black people
Say
to
that.
find a reason to make some money.
Say
Let
that.
me tell y'all something over there. We're done. The Democratic Party is done. You ain't gonna mess with us like
Y'all
this
gonna
no
abuse
more.
us.
I'm telling you what I'm
They
telling
get to
you.
abuse the black
Trump
American.
gonna come in here and gonna clean it up. I'm telling you, the world righteous heart. You leave the Democratic Party. Do just like RFK Jr. Just do like that Tulsi lady. You better get up out the Democratic
Tulsi lady.
Party.
Do like
Save
that Tulsi lady.
yourself. Save your families. Save your dignity. Save your jobs. And save your seat. Because if y'all don't, we coming for your seats.
If that would have been a white woman up there going off like that and being that vocal and that loud and that angry, what do you think would have happened to any of us white folks who would have gone up there and talked like that?
Would that be before or after the knock on the door from the FBI?
Yeah,
Well, first of all,
exactly.
CNN would have played this as another racist Trump supporter who doesn't want to support humanitarian
Right.
assistance.
Right? Exactly. It is falling apart all around them. We have seen what they are for the past 3.5, 4 years. People like Josh and I have known who they are for a lot longer than that. We've been sounding the alarm, trying to let you know, please pay attention to what's going on. Act locally, impact nationally, start voting. Start there. Get registered to vote, registertovote.ca.gov. It's not too late. Registertovote.ca.gov. A third of the population of the state of California claims to be Christian, yet only about 40% of them are even registered to vote. What the hell? Just the Christians alone could turn this state around. And we don't, Josh. We don't. What do we do with that?
You know what? This is something I've beat myself up for over in the past, trying to figure out. Now, a lot of people I talk to in California, I've been doing some street interviews and stuff, and we were in Venice Beach, and there were some young kids there. And when I say young, probably 19 to 21. And I was actually wearing Kamala Harris shirt and a Kamala hat. And so I'm pretending I support Kamala. And they were very respectable. And they were like, well, you know what? I mean, when you vote in California, it's always going to go one way. So what's the point of me voting? Which gave me the sense is they're conservatives and they feel like their vote doesn't matter. And I think just like everything we've heard for so long, I don't think your vote doesn't matter. I think that was pushed by Democrats to keep people from voting, because we know we do live, at least my opinion, I know some people will disagree, we do live in a blue state. I travel all over. There's so many red areas and so many Trump supporters, but when you go to San Francisco and LA and Oakland, these people are voting for their own demise. And it just makes no sense. And you're like, wait a second, but I cannot for the life of me not understand, other than the fact that people think that their vote doesn't matter. And in California, like in some of our areas, we have city council members, we have board of supervisors, we have those people win by 7 or 9 votes. So your vote does matter, and it's extremely important. And also, by these people voting, it makes it harder for the other side to cheat.
Exactly. In local elections, it's easier for them to cheat in the big national presidential elections because, you know, there's 50 states to choose from, and they've infiltrated, and you've got George Soros money going in there, paying people to disrupt, dismantle, and destroy, because they're doing their father's work just as quickly as possible, for his time is short. This election truly is the most important of our lifetime. Thank you, Sean Hannity. I know he says that every stinking election, but he's right this time. This is the most important election in our lifetime. We've got to step up, show up. It's got to be too big to rig on a national scale. But don't stop there, my fellow citizen. Please get registered to vote as a Republican so you can vote in the primary elections as well, because we need you desperately. Why are you holding back? Don't you think that the Lord is going to hold us accountable when he goes, I had all these good people who are running for office who absolutely took a stand for me, and you didn't even bother to vote for them when I blessed you with a nation, a constitutional republic where you actually had a say in who's calling the shots, and you did nothing? You don't think we're going to be held accountable for that?
Oh, we are. And there's one of the things, like when you talk about these Christians not going out and vote, and I run into these people and I don't know how I want to describe them, but they're a little different. They you have this population, some of the Christians that say, oh, well, the story's already written. The story's already written. God already knows what's going to happen. And I'm like, wait a second, you are called upon to act. You are called upon to serve the truth. And, you know, by not going out and voting, you are not serving. Because are you going to vote? By that, you're pretty much giving your vote to the devil. You're giving your vote to Planned Parenthood. And people need to understand that, and understand that we are called to act. We can all be soldiers in different ways. Not everybody can go to the front lines with a camera. Not everybody can go to a protest, but it's pretty simple to get up. You're especially California, your ballot will be in the mail in a couple weeks. For you not to spend the 3 minutes it takes to fill it out and send it in, I mean, do that at the least you could do.
I pray you don't. I pray you don't vote by mail. I pray you take it in person. Even if it is the mail-in ballot, you take it to a polling place, and they're open like what 11 days before Election Day now here in California.
If
Or just go to your. If you don't know a polling place, just go to your registrar of voters in your county. I just had Ryan Ronco on earlier today from Placer County in Northern California up here, and he was fantastic. He said the same thing. Don't vote by mail. And
well,
as a matter of fact, you want to go next level to make sure it gets counted right then and there. Take your mail-in ballot that you've already filled out. Get an actual ballot from us, transfer the information over, and then tear that mail-in one up and hand that in, and we put it, boom, right into the machine. It doesn't, if you do the by mail thing, it's sealed up and it gets counted later, maybe.
yeah, but
Don't vote by mail.
I was having this conversation with somebody last night, and I said, if it's good enough for the Democrats, it needs to be good enough for us this point. And the only reason why I say that, I'm getting over COVID again. No, the only reason why I say that is some of the people that I talk to that don't vote. For example, I run into these people where I'm wearing my MAGA stuff, and they have Trump bumper stickers. And they're like in their 40s, and they've never voted once. They didn't vote in 2016. They didn't vote in 2020. And I'm like, what is wrong? Like you have all this MAGA stuff on the back of your truck. And this is what I feel people is like. I was raised to vote. I was raised. It's not only a privilege, but an honor to vote. So we make
And a responsibility.
Yes, we make it a family affair. When my son turned 18, we all went out to dinner. This will be the first election that my daughter's voting in. She just turned 18 in August, so it's going to be all four of us out at dinner after we vote. So it's a big deal for us. Not everybody's like that. And if people have to, walking out to a mailbox is asking a lot of some people. I'm not exaggerating. When I talk to these people, they have MAGA stickers on their truck, or they say they're 100% conservative, and you start talking to them, it's like they're not going to go to them again. It's a waste of time to vote. So if you can make that as easy as possible, little effort as possible, then at least those people that won't go drop off their ballot, I would rather have them throw it in the mail, because that's what their neighbors who are Democrats are doing. And for somehow their votes always get counted very good, right? So I'm like, I just want those people that will not vote because they're not going to go down there. They're not going to go to the elections office. They're not going to do any of that. I want those folks to say, okay, just fill this out and drop it in your mailbox, because you know what? If 1% of the people that don't vote just did that, it would make a huge impact on
Make a huge impact. But I'll throw this out too, and I laid this information on Ryan Ronco earlier. I don't know if he knew this, but as I told him, again, registrar of voters, Placer County. I have friends who work for the U.S. Postal Service who have confided in me that they're letter carriers who love their little phony baloney government jobs and their big, nice paycheck and their completely unsustainable, ridiculous retirement. And they're all on board. And they love the left and they love the government because that's what they worship. And your mailed-in ballot that they pick up from your home, and you have a flag out front, or you have a Trump sticker on your vehicle that you're talking about, your little ballot will never make it to the post office. They're committing federal fraud, postal fraud, by not taking your ballot, but they don't care. That ballot's going to get lost. And they swear to me that there's a lot of letter carriers that's what they do. It's happening now, and there's no recourse. There seems to be no course correction because most of them at the top feel the same way. I don't trust it. That's why I'm encouraging you, please. I get it, Josh. I understand. Just please, at least this year, make an effort. Please do something different. Do something better. Take your ballot to the actual polling place. But do what you're going to do. But get registered to vote, registertovote.ca.gov. Josh, I love telling this story. I do a lot of guest speaking, and you're often a topic of conversation about when I was with Take Our Borders Back. with Kim Yater and Scotty Sachs and those folks. And I went all the way to the border down in California for their rally there. I was unable to go live because every time I tried to go live, something kept kicking me off. That was my first experience with true, absolute, you're being shut down, we're not allowing you to go live kind of crap. I'd heard about it, but I hadn't experienced it. So then I was part of the convoy all the way to Arizona at the border there. And same thing kept happening. I'm like, what the hell? So I was still able to get stuff on, but it was always after the fact. I was never able to go live. So I'm in the hotel in Arizona that night. And I go to you. I look up Oreo Express on YouTube. There you are. And on, I think Rumble. I was on Rumble. There you are. Live on the border. Right there where there's a hole in the fence. And you caught every single thing that happened there. You showed the immigrants who were hunkering down, trying to hide their faces behind these bushes. You showed the government vehicles from the United States of America showing up in unmarked vans, and the Border Patrol, and all showing up there, calling them over, giving them instructions. One of the Border Patrol agents said 3 times, I heard on your show, we're going to make sure you get home tonight.
Yes, home.
Home. Which home is that? You don't even know where they're from. What home are you talking about? He said that 3 times. Yeah, another Border Patrol agent kept shining a super bright light at your camera, trying to block the shot. And then this is my favorite part of the story. A Border Patrol agent, careful to stay out of camera range, saw him walking up, but you never saw his face. And then he's off camera, but we hear everything he's saying. And he asks you, he knew you. He knew your name.
Yeah.
He knew the show. He knew why you were there. And he asked, how are you getting a signal?
Yeah.
What do you know, Border Patrol agent? Why wouldn't he be able to get a signal here? What are you talking about? And your response was classic. You go, oh, I'm on Starlink.
Yep.
Elon Musk, I got satellites all over the place. Yeah, I'm getting all this. And his response was, oh,
yeah.
Turned around and walked away. I'll never forget that as long as I live. I saw that night after having experienced such oppression from my own government to keep me from showing people what's really going on at the border. But you were there, buddy. That was awesome.
Yeah, you know what? Speaking of Starlink, it's been a lifesaver, especially on the border and some of the places we travel to be able to, because, like you were saying, you try to go live. Most Americans and people watch your show, you're out somewhere, they want to see an unedited version. They don't want you to take a 60-second clip like the news and just post 60 seconds. No, you got to see what went on before, after, during, and all that. And that's what we try to bring to the folks. But no, without Starlink, there's a lot of areas, and there's even some areas where we've had no problems at one time. And literally something we do goes viral. And the next day we go back to that spot and I'm cutting down my service. You could see that something's going on. And they have ways to do this. They can interrupt your service. There's equipment. I mean, you could buy the equipment if you have enough money on Amazon. They sell these things. And our government, our military use them. Some police forces have this equipment. So when it comes to a weaponized, and I say this term loosely, a weaponized border patrol, there is a lot of great border patrol out there. However, there's also a lot of bad ones that are just in with the Biden-Harris.
And they're obviously on board. And don't forget, a lot of those great border patrol agents were forced out if they refused to take that jab, didn't they?
Absolutely.
Like, thousands were fired. And now they bring in everybody who's all on board, don't they?
Yes, and one thing you notice about it is when my first time at the border to cover for the open borders was 4 months after Biden took office. It was in the middle of May 2021. We went down for about a week. We went and covered the border because we heard what was going on. Nobody was really covering it, so we went down there, and Border Patrol was completely different than what you see now. They wanted to talk. They wanted to tell you where the action was at. Go over here. If you get here, they're usually coming across at 9 o'clock at night. Because why? They wanted the American people to see what they were dealing with. They were no longer protecting our country. They have now been turned into Ubers for the illegals coming over.
Yes.
And it didn't matter where we went. Like, we would be somewhere, and obviously when you go into an area, there's a bulletin put out. These guys are out here, blah, blah, blah. Well, it was actually worked good for us because we would be eating breakfast, leave our hotel, be eating breakfast at like 7 a.m., heading to the border, and here's 4 Border Patrol trucks pulling in. They're going to eat too, and they're like, hey, aren't you that guy doing live streams on the border? And they would just fill us with so much information. And then as time went on, you know, a year goes by, then about like, I don't know, 30-40% wouldn't even acknowledge you. And then it gets worse. And then you had some areas, like places in Arizona, where they just despise you as the media, even though you're getting it all out. They despise you. And it's because there was so much illegal activity going on there. You had NGOs literally picking up illegals and transporting them. We caught video of that. We turned that into Border Patrol, the sheriff, law enforcement in the area. Hey, they are literally human trafficking. This is an NGO human trafficking. Nobody wanted to do anything. The Border Patrol told us to call the sheriff. The sheriff told us to call the Border Patrol. And then so at that point, I'm calling them out. I'm like, y'all are traitors. You have somebody here. You're doing your job. I get your job.
I've seen video of him doing that, by the way.
Yeah,
He's not kidding.
Yeah, your job is to pick them up and take them to processing. I get that. And you know what? I pray that Trump comes back into office so you can protect the border. But when they actually are sent video evidence of the same group that they've watched, their trucks are sitting on the hill watching these people literally traffic illegals into the country, and they're no big deal. What's the call our PIO officer? I don't want your public information. I don't need public information. I need you guys to do your damn job.
Yeah, I'm showing it.
And then to so much so that as this time got, you know, these people were getting in trouble. People were getting caught for speaking to the media. They were being reprimanded. And so now everybody's so tight-lipped. I do know, like, I'll probably be back in Jacumba next week. And there's some great agents down there that when they see me, they said, hey, this place, 9 o'clock, the gate will be open. The gate's been left open. Not that they're leaving it open, but that it's open, because a lot of this stuff is private property. And it's private property that the trees are getting cut down. They're raping the females that are coming over. All this stuff is happening. And these Border Patrol are disgusted by not being able to do their job.
Not all of them. Some of them seem to be completely on board.
Yes, and some of them, and you know what? It's interesting. I'm looking into some research now from somebody telling me it's something totally different, but it has to do with prisons and the employees at prisons. And I think the same thing goes for Border Patrol, is that we are hiring people that, and I'm not saying illegal, but people that come from foreign countries and they earn their citizenship, but they haven't pledged allegiance to the country. They're not Americana, if you will. And they're putting these people in these positions. They take orders better. They don't care if they're going against what's best for the United States, because they've never imagined having a job that's paying this much and being able to provide for a family. And so they take all those circumstances and they're using that against the American people, because I've talked to people that I'm like, I can't understand what they're saying. I mean, we're talking people from all across the world, and you're like, man, you could tell their accent's so thick. They didn't go to high school here. They didn't go to college here. And you're like, wait a second. And it's really interesting to see, because those are usually the ones that threaten to call the police on you. And we've had that happen where they're like, hey, you can't be here. I'm like, hold on. There's 200 illegals here, and you're threatening to arrest the American citizen. What's wrong with this? And they don't care.
No, they fully don't. Speaking of families, you have a beautiful, wonderful family. It's got to be. I hope I hope you're getting rewarded. I hope you're doing well financially. I want you to thrive. You are so driven. You're such a true patriot and a follower of Christ Jesus. You don't hide. Like me, my goat is so funny. I met a woman yesterday and she goes, "Yeah, I don't really talk about politics or religion." And I went, "Seriously? Those are my go-tos. What are you talking about? Why don't you step up your game a little bit? We better start talking about that stuff because we're losing our country."
Mhm.
And that's you. It's got to be tough for you to leave. So I hope you're being rewarded. I hope you're doing well. I want you to do well. And you've been doing this for over 4 years now, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I started out probably like 9 years ago, but full time it's been 4 years now. And unfortunately, with cancel culture and Facebook kicking us off, YouTube kicking us off, Facebook was our largest platform. They kicked us off during the People's Convoy. So that revenue of all the subscribers, I think we had like 170 subscribers at $9 a month. That money goes. And then you start building YouTube and you're like, oh man, I got hundreds of subscribers. Everything's here. Well, when we were at the border, we caught an actual terrorist coming across that had done prison time. And he threatened, he was very threatening in the way that he was speaking. That went national. That Newsmax picked it up. Everybody picked it up. And then about a week later, boom, there goes my channel. And so, I keep telling myself, as you know, if God wants me in this, he's going to provide. If God wants me doing something else, he's going to provide me for that. So, we just pray that we just, I think right now is obviously some of the most critical times with election coming up. But you know what? I don't know what the future holds. My dream, honestly, would be able to go back to 8 to 5 and not do this. But that is not in the cards because the rewarding part is when somebody that don't know what's going on gets to see firsthand for themselves that it isn't a conspiracy theory. There's no editing involved. I'm not, taking things out of context. They're watching it live. That for me in the emails I get, like, oh my gosh, I've believed CNN. I mean, I've gotten some emails that'll bring a tear to your eye because it's like, man, more importantly than money or anything else is the fact that we wake up folks that have been lied to for so long.
What is the one thing? There's a couple of questions I have along these lines. Having done what you've done, and Josh is like me. He's larger than average, tall, imposing figure, and fearless. I mean, fearless. So I don't worry about you there so much, but I worry about when you get ganged up on. And you have been right in the middle of some pretty precarious things. Is there ever a time in all your reporting that you've thought, holy crap, this might be a little bit more than I can handle?
There's definitely been some times where I've felt like, wow. One of those times was actually you might have had her on your show, the detransitioner Chloe. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was holding a rally in Sacramento, and Trans-Tifa showed up, and we were on the sidewalk of the state capitol.
Trans-Tifa.
And we're sitting out there, and I'm kidding you not, there's 100 highway patrol sitting like 10 feet away from us. And all of a sudden, Trans-Tifa's there, and they start lighting smoke bombs, and they start coming aggressively at a group of us. And I was like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. They hit me with something in the arm, but they hit another guy. They had a steel bar, and there's another reporter. They cracked him over the head. And I'm like, if it comes to that, let's have some fun. But the reason why I was scared for this country was police stood there and watched. There was 50 Sacramento PD on the same street 100 yards up that watched the violence, watched multiple people get assaulted. And I turned around to the highway patrol and I said some pretty choice words that most people don't hear me say on my live streams, Barry. And I was letting them know, you know what? I was like, this is why people are going to want to defund the police. You're not doing your damn job here. There was multiple people injured, and they just let them go and continue walking down the street, and everybody else backed up. And me and my buddy, we followed them down the street. And it was interesting that day because, again, they wanted to be able to pull somebody out and, like you say, gang up on them. And then also the Palestinian protest would be another one. When you're in the middle of a Palestinian protest, these people that support terrorism, they support Hamas, they don't care because they know they are the victim in court. They're going to play their victim card. Me holding a camera is somehow a hate crime. And so I've seen some pretty disturbing stuff while we've been covering that. And I've been very fortunate. I always say, the hedge of protection, I pray for it every time before we go out. And but we've seen some pretty interesting stuff over the years. Like I said, back in the day before they shut down Patriots with J6, usually when I went out to an area, if I was in Sacramento, there would be 5 times as many Patriots as there were the bad guys. So you didn't have to worry. People watched each other's back. But now a lot of times when we're going out to these places, the Patriots aren't existent. They're non-existent anymore. And this was on purpose. That's what they know. If they just out there and they're seen and they get put on the news, they're going to lose their job.
I had people who were sending me well-meaning emails, text messages, everything when I was going down to the border. Charlie, please don't. It's a setup. It's going to be like January 6th. You're going to be in prison. We're not going to be able to even help you. You're not going to have bail. You're not going to be able to get out. Please don't do this. Please don't go there. And my response was, wow, I sure appreciate you caring. But however, when have I ever shied away from pointing out what's going on? I rule my show and my life by Ephesians 5:11, which is be no part of the works of darkness, but instead even expose them. And courage is contagious. But you're right. A lot of the patriots have scattered. They've been scared into silence. And they'll suddenly get all bold after, Lord willing, President Trump wins the presidency and is actually allowed to take office, because they're going to do everything they can to make sure that doesn't happen. Why? Because this is their last hope. If Trump gets in office, people are going to frickin' prison. And it's about time. I've been praying for this kind of justice. I don't know about you. I pray for their salvation, but I pray like David, if that's not your will, Lord, take them down, ruin them, make them pay for their crimes. This is horrific what's happening, what they're doing to the nation that you blessed us with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's when like if somebody doesn't get a little bit emotional, and I think me and you are probably numb to a lot because we deal with it a lot, but there's still, when you think of those kids that are going to school, when you think of, what was it this year? Almost, I think it was over 50% of families had to decide new backpack or putting food on the table. This is by design. This was not an accident.
No.
You are going to have Venezuela style rule if we allow it to happen. And I'm telling you right now, the answer is not handouts. It's to provide an economy so we can take care of ourselves. And Democrats do not want that. We had it under Trump with his tariffs and everything that they say is going to take inflation through the roof. We had it all. We were great. We had more money in our pocket. Things were cheaper. And now we see the counter side to that. And people that aren't, I get it. I talk to people all the time that they're still making $160,000 a year. It's not affecting their weekend trips with their wife and stuff. And I'm like, but it will. And you have to do something now. Look at, for the good of humanity, take a look at what's going on.
A lot of those people, when things do start getting too tough for them to deny it, they're just going to leave. They got the money. They're just going to leave the state and get out and go somewhere else. But as California goes, so goes the rest of the nation, sucker.
Yeah.
And it will catch up with you. You better fight right now while you can, while you're here.
Yeah, think about it. Springfield, Ohio, of all places. Those people probably thought they were pretty safe in Springfield.
Good point. How do we support you? And I want to encourage you to please forget giving me anything to help with this show. And I thank and I ask the Lord to bless all those who have helped. give to Josh and help support him and his family, because what he's doing is even far. I'm merely reporting to you things that he's doing. He's there. He's doing it, and he's about to go again. And you have an event coming up. This is a good way to go hear him speak. If you're in Central California, it's in Merced, isn't it?
Yes.
This coming, is that this coming weekend?
This Saturday, Merced County Republican Assembly, California Republican Assembly,
At the Elks Lodge, in Merced, right?
The Elks Lodge, and you can Google it to find the tickets. But yeah, we'll be speaking on Saturday. I'm working with them now. I think I'll have some a video screen set up, show you some of the actual videos I've taken at the border. And again, get involved. If you haven't been part of the California Republicans Assembly, get involved. There's a lot of great people, and they just need a little bit of help once in a while. I mean, it's not like you got to dedicate a whole lot of time, but there's a lot you can do to help out from your home when you get involved in these groups.
Amen. And start with actually giving, because I swear to you, on the left, they're giving in droves to support candidates that are not even in their district.
Yeah.
That's what they do. So we need to start lifting each other up and helping each other. How do we find you? How do we support you, Josh?
I have a website called theoreoexpress.com. You
Is
can
it
go
the word theoreoexpress.com?
Yeah, theoreoexpress.com. And then obviously X. I do a lot of posts on X throughout the day when I'm not live. So at Oreo Express on X. And then my main platform is Rumble, Oreo Express on Rumble. We're always, if we're at an event, we're live and we're trying to show you guys behind the scenes. Sometimes it can get a little boring, but get over it because the action is coming.
Right. Have you had Nabisco come after you and say cease and desist? You can't use our little Oreo name.
No, but there was a campaign from the Antifa leftists to tagging them all over X saying that, trying to call. They were literally had a whole thread where they called them. They were trying to get information, how they could get the name taken away. And I was like, that would be so awesome because I've seen that happen before. And because they don't want to put me out of business, they would have to pay for me to rebrand everything. They would have to pay for all this stuff unless they wanted me to go down fighting. But no, nothing at all. Nothing like that at all. And we've been viral quite a few times, so they know.
Yeah, they know. Man, you're one of my heroes, brother. You're one of my heroes. Thank you very much for spending some time with us here on Do Not Talk, my friend. And I wish you all the best. And follow him, help him, please. All right, partner. May God bless you and keep you. I'm going to pray for you right now. Father, I praise you for people that you have raised up. It's no accident that we are right now at this time in your history. These are people who I beg you, please, to keep him safe, keep his family safe. I ask you to please strengthen him, encourage him, help him, get people behind him to help financially so he can keep going. This has turned into a full-time job for him, Lord, but it's not full-time pay. So please help him. He has a great family. Father, I know you already are, but we're to come together and we're to lift each other up, right, Lord? So that's what I'm doing now. I'm asking you to please shine some favor, even more so, and protection and success on my friend Josh here. And thank you for what he does. In your name, King Yeshua, Christ Jesus, amen and amen.
Amen. Thank you for that, Charlie. Thank you, man.
All right, brother, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
And seriously, help him, support him. All alternative media like this. Turn off the dad blame mainstream. You're not even really getting the conservative news and what's really going on from Fox News now, are you? Did they show you anything of what's going on in Springfield, Ohio? Have they? Have they? Did you know that was happening? What's going on in Colorado? Have they been reporting on that? Come on. Josh goes live every day on Rumble, which is amazing. That's a huge undertaking. And I've seen his show, and it's a lot into it. He's showing you video. He's showing you documents. He's doing that every day. So find him on Rumble, Oreo Express. And I am Charlie Simons. My show's called Do Not Talk. You can find me on Rumble, at least for now, sometimes on YouTube. We're live on YouTube right now, but they'll most likely be deleting the show and probably the whole channel after this show. Live on Facebook, but I'm always getting flagged. I'm on my 22nd 90-day restriction right now on Facebook. That's over 5 years. People don't see what I post on there anymore, even though I've got thousands of followers and friends and all that, but they don't care because this is their religion, isn't it? The left doing their father's work just as quickly as possible, for his time is short. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless America. Most importantly, America bless God.